And hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. So today we will be discussing group by in SQL. So before we get started, let's first type out some normal code. So let's just click here on customers, and that should get us some template code which we can run and just see the output of. Now let's say we want to get the customer ID and the country they live in which case we can just say select customer ID and country from customers. It's fairly simple. We run it and it will just return these two. But hear me out. What if we wanted to count the amount of customers inside of every country? What if we wanted to do that? That is where group by comes in. It is used a lot with things like count, max, min, sum, and average. We're not going to cover all of them because it's fairly simple once you know how to do one. But let's say we want to count the customer ID. Right? So we want to count the customer ID, and this will get the amount of people. Problem is, these two, they're not compatible. If I say run, it's going to say, hey, that doesn't work, because if it's going to count this, it's going to return one number, and it's going to return a bunch of countries. That's not how SQL works. It has to be equal. There has to be an equal amount of rows on both sides of the columns. In that case, we can use group by. So here we can just say group by, and then we can say what to group it by. So we can say country. Now if we run this, then as you can see, it gives us the amount of people in that country. It may look a little bit confusing at first, but what's happening here is it is counting this. But once it sees this group by, it realizes it only has to count for every country. So it doesn't count everything up at once. For in which case, if we did this, they will only get one number. Now, this time, we can just go back here. This time, it realizes because we say group by, it only has to count for that specific country. And that is kind of where group by comes in handy. So if you need to kind of narrow things down to maybe locations or anything, you can group things by. A lot of things I also see is that people, instead of saying just customer ID, they can also go star. If you run that, then as you see, you'll get the same output. It doesn't have to be a specific column. Because remember, this is going to maybe count everything up, but you don't have to specify a column. Or, yeah, a column. Because it's going to say, okay, get every country and make its own little table, in a sense. And then that table gets counted. And then it's going to the next one and see, okay, Austria. Find all of the places with Austria, make its own little table, count them. Next one. And that's basically in my head how it's happening. Now we can actually make this even more. So let's actually break it up, just so it's a bit easier to read. So each line has something that it is telling you. Let's go to the next line. Here we can say order by. Remember that? Yeah, we can use this. We can say order by the count of everything. And then if you run that, then as you can see, it starts at the one with the least. And then it's going all the way down to the one with the most. We can also say descending, so we get a different result. As you can see, now it's at the top. And if we want to make it even more interesting, let's say as run that SQL. Now as you can see, now it has a name. It has ordered from the country with the most customers. And yeah, it just works. And that is basic group by. I think you can find out more about how to use it with max and min and sum and average, because you can now group and by things. And yeah, that is all there is for today with group by. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and see you all again in the next video.